Hey everyone, Felix from Nintendo Life here, and I'm joined by the venerable, the wonderful, Mr. Alex.
Whoa, hello there, Mr. Felix.
And I'm not only joined by you, Alex, we're also joined by the lovely Mr. Sion.
What year is it? What is happening to time?
Well, the year is 2024, and courtesy of what we always do on this channel, we'll be talking about our favorite Switch games that we played in the year 2024. Key emphasis on played in 2024, not released in 2024. Today, we'll be looking at my favorite Switch games that I played this year, tomorrow Sion's, and the day after Alex's. All right, everyone is ready to go? Let's just jump right into it and talk about my first game on the list. And this is Pentiment.
Ooh.
I thought you'd have this one.
Yes, Pentiment is a game set in the medieval times. The attention to detail is really outstanding. Just so well researched all around. All the characters, when they talk, they'll have different fonts, so the people of the church will have this, albeit very hard to read font, though there's a setting so you can change it. But it is a very unique game. I've never played anything like it, and I don't know if I'll ever play anything like it again. Maybe if someone gets inspired by it. But
Is this a I must admit I've not looked into this game too much, mostly because the art style like didn't hook me. But I'm curious, is it like a point and click kind of like Monkey Island?
without all the humor, perhaps. I mean, it is quite a tragic game at times.
Oh, really? Okay.
The really cool thing about the game is that you play as this character and you see this village. So you might see a kid and then you might come back to the village many years later and this kid has now grown up. And later they're fully adult and they have kids. So it's like you see this village going through all these stages in a time of, well, change. Yeah, it is a point and click. You go through, you kind of go on rails. So you go around talking to characters. There's some choices that affect, they affect stuff, but in the overall picture, they don't affect as much as it might seem, which is a bit of a shame. But it is such an immersive game. The music and just everything is just so medieval. They've really done their research with this one, which is very apparent if you play it.
And it's like you play as sort of a detective, or at least the closest equivalent from the time period. Is that right, or am I losing my mind?
You actually play as I think it's called a scriber or something, someone who writes in the church and paints pictures for books.
Okay, I'm losing my mind.
But you do play around he's not a detective, but he acts as a detective. So he goes around and talks to people. Okay, a person has been killed. Who did it? And you have to figure out who did it.
Okay. I for a moment I thought I'd just completely misunderstood the game.
You were not completely off. He's just not a detective. Yeah. Rookie mistake. But
I was just watching a trailer and they say mysteries only you can solve. So yeah, you're I could see why you would think that, Alex, especially.
I think I can be given a pass on that one.
Yeah.
In the next game, you also kind of have to do some detective work. This is not a game that came out in 2024, but I finally got around to play it because it went on sale. But the game is Ghost Trick.
Ooh.
The
The Phantom Detective.
Yeah. This is
Isn't
a game...
this where you play as a scribe?
In the medieval age, yes.
Yeah, something like that.
So the cool thing about this game is that you're dead. And you take control over different parts of, you might take control of a lamp. We might take control, that's the way you travel around in the game. It's very unique. Again, I like unique games that try things that I haven't tried before. And this, again, is such a unique game. I don't want to spoil too much because the cool thing about it is how the story unfolds and the twists and turns it takes. It's one of those games that it is just, I won't say much, but if you have any questions, I will say that.
Do you think the gameplay mechanics are the interesting part, or is the story more interesting than that? Because I will say, I've played a good couple hours of it and enjoyed what I have so far, but haven't really found that magic yet. But hearing you talk about the story kind of has me intrigued to go back.
Oh yeah, the gameplay can definitely have some hurdles from time to time. It can be just a bit weird to play as this game because, again, there's nothing quite like it. What did it for me was, like you say, the story. The story is really original and crazy, and if you were to predict what would happen, you would not get it right because it is just so, it's crazy. I remember being
so out
told
there,
that.
yeah.
It's like, now I have an idea what's going to happen. I did not have an idea what was happening. Let me tell you that. Also, the music. The music is quite, it's by the composer who also did the first Ace Attorney game. So already there. Pretty good stuff. It's a very different style than Ace Attorney. Not just the music, but also the gameplay itself. It is made by the same person who made Ace Attorney, for anyone wondering. You can definitely see aspects of why it's similar, but instead of it being like different cases and it jumps in time with Ace Attorney, here's just like one long story. It is sectioned up in chapters, which is like, okay, the chapters is like from one time to another. So from 8 p.m. to 9:25 p.m. That might be chapter 1, just as an example. And yeah, I just really like the ideas, really like the characters, actually. Let me talk about the characters. I'm not going to talk that much because it spoils too much, but the character design, it's so great. All the characters are so iconic. The use of colors, the use of this, I don't know what you would call the art style of this game, but it's this 2D, really like nice shadows. And
it's like cell shaded almost a little bit, I think. But
yeah, because the characters themselves feel 3D, but everything else is kind of 2D. It's nice.
It was a DS game originally as well, wasn't it?
It was. And I feel like they've done a pretty good job of porting it over to the Switch. Now, it does play in 4:3. It doesn't use the full screen for some reason. I don't know why. But
it may technically be a different aspect ratio. I'm not 100% sure, but the DS...
The square.
The DS,
square
I don't believe,
ratio.
was...
It doesn't feel
I like that.
Square?
It doesn't
Was it
feel
square
like... well, I feel like when I play on the TV, the game looks square, at least in my mind. Maybe it wasn't. That's just how I remember it, or 4:3.
I feel that. It might not be a square, but in my head, it's also square.
It's 3x2.
Is it?
3x2. Wow.
It's 3x2,
I was
baby.
pretty close. Only one off. The next game I can spoil because there's not too much story. It is Super Mario Party Jamboree. Wow!
What do you mean there's no story? I've played the intro. There's like a bigger imposter Bowser made by Kamek.
That's true. And there is actually also a story mode. I don't know what I was talking about. But yeah, this is a great Mario Party. I've gotten my fair share of hours played. I was lucky enough to be able to play with the team, although Alex, you were off in Japan by that time, but I got to play with some of the hookshot team. That was really, really fun. I got to play with my friends and family, got to do some Mario Party evenings, and that's just been such a blast. Admittedly, I haven't played it in some time, but I think I played it a lot very quickly, and then I was like, okay, now I've gotten my fair share out of it.
Well, also, it's the sort of thing that you play in a specific scenario. You don't sit down one evening and think, I'm going to play some Mario Party. It's when you have people over.
Yeah,
you decide. You sort of say,
exactly.
hey, should we play some Mario Party? And they go, no, I value our friendship. How many hours do you have in the game?
Good question. I have 39 hours in the game.
Good God.
And for the amount of time that I played it, that was a lot. I just went... I do that sometimes where I get hyper obsessed with something, and then suddenly I just drop. It's like, okay, now I'm good. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. But this game just has so much content. Not only does it just have a brilliant normal Mario Party mode, it has a lot of different side modes. We have the minigame islands, and we have, 8-player co-op where the Bowser's Kaboom Squad. We also have Koopathlon, which is a 20-player online mode, which, I think we don't talk about the others. We don't talk about them. They are shadow banned. The main party mode is, though, what I played the most, almost exclusively with my friends. It was really cool that there was actually unlockable boards. Not any boards that we didn't know of, but you didn't start off with all the boards. So, and yeah, I just had a blast as Waluigi. I know a lot of people who also played it who loved it. I've had a lot of fun games on the mall map and on the Bowser map. And the Bowser map is brutal. Either you have a very good time or you get stuck in a square.
I'm glad it's lived up to your expectations. I know you had a lot of hype for this one this year.
Oh, yes.
And
I did.
Nothing is worse than playing a game that you have all that hype built up for and it just doesn't hit. But no worries here.
No.
Have you managed to play the pro rules at all? Because I've not been able to do that thus far. But I've been very intrigued by them.
I have played the pro rules. It's just the fact that it's only 12 turns has made me play it less, which is it's just a bit of a weird thing that you can only play 12 turns. I did, though, have some star duels landing on the same space. And that was really cool. And I think the fact that you only have limited amount of items, I would like to play it more, but I think when I'm with people, I say there's normal and then there's pro, and people often go, I'm not a pro, so I'm just going to play normal. I think pro makes it sound really hardcore. It's just a bit of modifications to the rules. But I would love to play with, Mario Party diehards and get into like a proper competitive game. Hasn't happened yet, but maybe in the future. I haven't actually played a lot of online. I've played one game online, and that went really good. The connection and everything, just as good as Mario Party Superstars.
Well, the invitation's open if you want to play pro anytime.
Sounds good, Alex. Let's do it. I'm well up for that. Maybe we can even get C on the board.
Yeah, I still got to get the game.
Silence speaks volumes.
No. I did gasp, but I guess Discord must have just cut it out.
Oh, okay. It sounded like you said, like very, very quietly.
Oh, man.
Well, the next game might also make you gasp, Sion. Maybe also Alex. This is...
Scary game.
Well, it's not a horror game, but it can be very scary because it is such a tragic and horrifying tale. The game I'm talking about that tells this tale is Return of the Obra Dinn. Wow.
Ooh.
This is such a good game, guys. If you haven't played it, go and play it. I got this recommended by a friend. I'd always thought the graphics looked a bit, they had put me off. Really,
Yeah,
don't let
same.
let the graphics put you off, because the story of the game is that you're like an insurance man, and this boat, how many people is it? A lot of people have gone missing on this boat. Everyone has gone missing, and you have to figure out why.
And the boat's out on the water, and everyone's just gone?
Yep. The boat returned
That
to
is
England.
wild. Okay.
Returned to England after being like, it was sailing down to Africa, and then it returned to England with nobody aboard. And you have to figure, one, what happened to the person, and if they died, how did they die? So you have this like big list of 50 or so people. You have a picture, you have one picture of everyone. It's just such great told story. So the way that it works is that in the start, I'm just going to tell the very intro bit, and then I won't say much more, because it is also a game that you would like to go in as blind as possible. You find a corpse, and you have a cool watch. Someone has sent you a watch, and this watch will make you go back to the exact moment the person died.
I love those things. I had one growing up.
Shame you got rid of it.
But not only that, you will also hear the instances just before they died. So you will be able to hear some voices, or, oh, hey, what are you doing here? No, stop! Ah! And then you see the moment they get blasted or something like that. And the voice acting is brilliant. The music, this whole game was made by the same person who made Papers, Please.
Oh,
shoot. Okay.
It's just made by like one
Glory
guy.
to Arstotzka.
He was talented old bugger, because the music as well, really, really great. You'll go on this grand adventure that'll make you feel, to me at least, like no other game I felt. It is really a masterpiece, and a game that everyone should play. If you've played games like maybe Outer Wilds, that is also like a game you can't play Return of the Obra Dinn twice, because then you know who this character is. It's like a whole mystery, and it has a really cool feature that when you guess 3 people, it'll only then tell you if you're correct. So you can put in, okay, I think this character's right, and then suddenly, boom, and it has this like song saying, you got 3 right. So you can also use this to your advantage to like guess 2 that you're certain of, and then 1 that you maybe not, and then try to guess a bunch of things and then kind of trick the system a bit. But yeah.
I've been tempted to get this game so many times, and you're only making it more likely that I'm going to pick it up at some point. I just do think it's amusing that 2 out of the 5 games that you enjoyed the most this year are historical mystery games.
That's funny.
Yeah, I'm just that kind of guy.
And another one is just a sort of a recent history mystery game.
Yeah, what can I say? I love a good murder mystery and figuring out what happened and how these people died.
And that's 3 games actually on this list then, because Ghost Trick also
yeah,
someone dies. So my gosh.
But there's one game that rised above them all, the game I enjoyed the most, even though these weren't ranked, this is the game I enjoyed the most this year. It did also release this year, although it is a remake. It is Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door.
Wow.
Let's go.
Also a murder mystery, I believe, right?
Well, you have to figure some things out. This game is phenomenal.
Please edit that Let's Go out. It was terrible.
You know I won't, Alex. So, I don't know if any of you have played Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door, but just for anyone who hasn't, this is a Mario RPG. There's loads of original characters, and you'll go on this journey to find a lot of these. Is it 7 stars? You need some stars to open the 1,000-year door, because stuff is behind it. Very intriguing. You should play the game to find out what's behind it. It's very cool.
Mario left his keys in there.
Yeah. This game is also just really gorgeous. The gameplay, though, is where it shines. The gameplay and writing. Sometimes it doesn't feel like a Mario game. The way these characters talk and the witty humor that's used. It is such a funny and I'm speechless. That's what's up, because it's such a good game. It has a really good combat system, something that later Paper Mario games have been criticized of. So you get on this big stage and you use badges and you fight all these weird, wacky enemies, and you can even have an ally on your side that'll do different stuff, and you can change out your allies. You have a bunch of different allies, and these allies also do stuff in the overworld. So you might, it's kind of like a Metroidvania with the allies, because they'll do something so you can progress in the map somewhere, because it is kind of a big world that you can traverse by. Maybe you go into a pipe or you go into an airship to go there. But yes, luckily in this version there's a much better fast traveling system. Although you can't fast travel, there's like a hub where you jump into this pipe and then you just go to the world. And the pacing also really, really good, even though the game is it like 40 hours? Some 30 to 40 hours, I would say. But I didn't realize that time had passed at all. I just went through the game so fast because, one, it is so addicting, and two, like I said, the pacing is really, really good. It's sectioned into chapters, and each chapter follows kind of the same story beats. You come to a new location, you meet this character. There's loads of characters, but some characters stay with you as an ally. The cool thing, though, is even though it follows these same structured beats, it never gets boring. You might have one level that's just like, oh, we're in the Super Mario world, let's go defeat a dragon. And another one, suddenly you're part of this wrestling group and you have to rise up the ranks. Suddenly you're in a snowland with bob-bombs and it's great. It is so full of originality and full of great ideas left and right. And that is why so many people love it. And I think this remake just makes it look, it just looks very, very good to me. I know a lot of people complain about it being cut to 30 FPS. It did not matter one bit because it is very, very consistent. And I don't know, maybe I'm just a bit blind if it's consistent and stuff. 30 FPS in the right games, it can be totally fine.
And the visuals got quite a big upgrade this time around too, right? Like it's not just a little.
Oh
remaster.
Yeah, it's a proper remake. Everything looks bloody great, Sion. And you know what? Also, well, it doesn't look great. It sounds great because they also made a new it's not a new soundtrack. Sorry, they just re-recorded the soundtrack with live instruments and made different variations to the battle theme depending on which chapter you're in, which is just so cool. The music is formidable, as one would say in whatever that. Yep, French. I don't know.
French. It's not German, I'll tell you that. I've been meaning to get this game for ages, to be honest. Annoyingly, it's just another one of those games that's been on my list. I wanted it on the original GameCube. A friend of mine had it when I was growing up, and at one point he even offered it to me when he was living in America, and he's like, oh, I can't play it, it's a PAL version, I'll just send it to you if you like. And I'm like, I don't trust that in the US postal system, and I really regret it now because he doesn't have it anymore.
Oh no.
But I can get it on Switch now. I haven't, but I could.
Yeah.
You could and you should, Alex, together with you, Sion, because it's one of the best Mario games I've played. I think it's much better. I think it's better than Mario RPG. Mario RPG is good, but I think it shows its age. This game doesn't. It feels like it could have come out today. But the writing and the story, it's so modern, even though it came out back in 2004. No, what? Yeah.
Sure.
God, that sounds about accurate. Yeah.
Yeah, it's I would have loved to play that when I was 2 years old. Blimey me. Anyway, those were my
Don't say that.
favorite 5 games of 2024. There was also other games that I would have liked to included, but the reason I haven't is because Alex and Sion might have it on theirs. Because what we actually have
Oh my
done
goodness.
is that we've made sure that there's no overlap. We have a correspondent called Jim who works on the website, and he's made sure that none of us have any of the same games. So do be sure to check in tomorrow for 5 new games that Sion is going to be talking about, his 5 favorite on the Switch in 2024, and the day after, Alex's. So thank you so much for joining me for this chat, Alex and Sion.
Thank you
Thank
for
you for
having
having.
us.
Yeah.
Speak to you in a few minutes.
And yeah, I'll see you all in the next one. Felix, Alex, and Sion from Nintendo Life, out.
Out.
Out.